What's up, guys? This is Freon the Frozen. I'm gonna go ahead and make a video on how to start a beat very quickly with Reason, um, the DAW program. DAW stands is an acronym for Digital Audio Workstation. As you can see here, I have two of them. I have FL Studio, which is really popular, and I have Reason. I'm going to show you how to start it on Reason. Okay, so let's go ahead and double click that, start the program or launch the program. And then where you can see that we have a demo song. I don't want to listen to that. You can if you want to, that's up to your leisure. So but I want to start a new project, so I press new, and I can close this one. Let me go ahead and put it to the middle because I wanted to see it in the middle. And you have two areas when it comes to Reason. You have a rack and you have a sequencer. The sequencer is automatically put down below here, but I personally don't want to see it right now because then you might get confused. Sometimes people see this and they think it's overwhelming. So I want to go ahead and detach it, make it a new window, but I want to minimize that so I won't see that at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and create something because I want to create some drums, right? So I'll go to create. Then I go to Red Drum. That's one of the modules that you can use to make sound patterns. And this, I would say, is one of the easiest ones in Reason. So let's click that. It creates it. And if you create it through here, through this through the create tab, it automatically routes it to the mixer. And you're probably thinking what does that mean? And no problem. Basically, the sounds that are gonna come from this module, they're going through the mixer, and then from the mixer, they're going into your interface, hardware interface, which in my case is a MBOX 2. Yours could be your computer sound card, or it could be a different interface that you use. So and if you want to go ahead and see how that looks, you can press the tab. When you press the tab, it shows you how it looks. The output signals are gonna go ahead and go to my first channel on the mixer, and then the output signals from the mixer are gonna go to this, which is a combinator, which is used for mastering. That's why it says mastering. You could do your compressors there and all these other things, and then that is routed to your interface. Let's not focus on that right now. Let's go ahead and just focus on Red Drum. So now that we see how it looks in the back, you want to go ahead and make it, flip it. So you press tab again and it flips it so you can see the front side. Now, this automatically has the disco kit, drum kit. I don't want to hear that. So I want to go ahead and press the browse patch button, and it brings me down to the ones that you see here are the defaults. But I want to go ahead and use the hip hop one. So I'll go to hip hop, I'll drop that down, and I'm gonna go ahead and select the kit number 4. So I'll press OK. Now I have kit number 4 into all my channels here. If you want to preview what each channel has, it has a trigger button at the top. There's actually 3 buttons at the top. One of them is to mute that channel. One of them is to solo that channel, so you can only hear that channel alone. And you have the trigger button. So I want to listen to what this channel number 1 has, and I press it, and I can tell that it's a drum kick. You can do that to all the other channels, and you can see what each channel has. Okay, so right now since I automatically have channel 1 selected, I want to first focus on the tempo of my beat or my instrumental. I usually start by putting the tempo up to whichever rhythm you want to go to. I'm going to put it to like 87. So if you click on it and you drag down, you can move it, or you can also have these these buttons down here, and you can click all the way to 87 or whichever tempo you want to go ahead and apply. I want 87, so I have it at 87. Since I have my channel 1 selected, I can go ahead and press one of these buttons, and it's automatically gonna put a color and you can see in this case it's going to be an orange color. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So since I have that button pressed, when I press play, it's going to go ahead and actually trigger that drum kit. All right, so now that we got it triggered, you should be able to hear something out your speakers, out your headphones, depending on what you're using. In this case, since I have my tempo ready, I already triggered that. I do know that I want to hear a snare, so I go to my snare channel. There's 2 of them here. Let me see what channel 4 sounds like. Okay, that sounds okay. I'm gonna select channel 4, and you see that the other button disappeared. That's simply because we're on channel 4 now, and we're no longer on channel 1. If I go to channel 1, you see that trigger button pressed. I'm gonna go ahead and go to 4, channel 4, select it, and I know that if I put 1 on button number 5 and I put 1 on button number 13, it's all gonna go pretty well, because that's just how I have my tempo. Yours might differ depending on what you're trying to do, but at the moment I'm trying to do a hip hop, little simple drum kit, drum, and you're gonna go ahead and hear that. Okay, so now I have two snares and I have 1 kick, but I definitely want to put some more kicks. So let's go ahead and preview that. If I put 1 here, all right, so we got a little simple beat going on right now. I want to go ahead and change the groove on it a little bit, because I really don't want it to sound like that. It has a little space, so it's going a little bit too slow. I want to change the groove on it. So to do that, you want to go ahead and press this button right here, which is the regroove mixer. You press it and it brings up this window with these mixers. Don't worry about those right now, but you have these banks. Don't worry about those either. And don't worry about this one here. Don't worry about that. You're going to be focusing on this knob. This is global shuffle. When you move that, it's going to change things. But if I just simply move it, I'm going to go to 67. Or let me put 69 just for the sake of it. I'm going to put 69, and it's supposed to change something, right? So if you were to press play, you're not going to hear anything. And I'll show you in a second why. It still sounds the same, right? You're like, well, what did that do? It does make a difference, but if you notice on the red drum, there's a shuffle button. You see it says shuffle here. You want to enable that. Once you enable the button, now it's going to affect the red drum. This global shuffle is going to affect this. So let me lower this down, and then you should be able to hear a difference. Okay, so now you hear the difference in the groove, but I think it's a little bit too fast. So let me go ahead and put 66. See how that sounds. Okay, so now you can kind of hear that it's getting like a hip hop East Coast type of vibe, simply on the beats, on the drum. But I want to make it a little bit more intricate, right? I want some hi-hats. Let me see what channel 8 has. Okay, let me check what channel 9 has. Okay, we're gonna go with channel 8, so I'm going to select it. Once I have it selected, I can go ahead and press the buttons. I'm going to press the buttons like this, and now you should hear the hi-hats as well. Okay, so I have that done. But I feel like the hi-hats are too loud. They're hitting a little bit too hard. So there's 3 options here. Earlier I told you that this is, the color that you can see right now is orange. There's 3 options here, and they're color coded as well. You have your orange, and you have your red, and you have a yellow color. So if I get this switch, I click on it and I drag it down, it's gonna go ahead and select the soft. So once I select this button, it's gonna switch to a yellow color. Now it's on a yellow color, and then I'm gonna select all of these because I don't want my hi-hat to be too loud. So now when I preview it, it's gonna be a little bit softer. And that sounds okay. Now I want to go ahead and select my snare, but I want that to be loud. So I get to switch, I click on it, and I'm gonna drag it all the way to hard, and I'm gonna click on the buttons that have the snare, and now they're gonna be loud. Let me do the same to my kicks. So let me select the buttons, and this is already hard. So let me go ahead and press the button. Now they're red, and then you're going to hear that they're gonna be hard kicks, and they're also gonna be hard snares. Okay, so let me go ahead and preview that. Okay, so that's how you can go ahead and create something really quick when it comes to drums only on Reason 5. You can also do this on Reasons that are lower versions. Also, you can do that on Reasons that are in higher versions. Higher versions are going to have more modules, possibly more effects as well that I don't have. But I do know that they're going to have Red Drum. They're going to have the basics from the past. And Red Drum is one of them. So if you guys want to go ahead and make the snare sound a little bit more wet, and what I mean by that is give it a little bit reverb, you can do that. You can do a lot of things within Reason. If you press play, you can hear that the snare sounds a little dry, and I want that to be a little bit wet, right? So I click here on the black area, which is in my rack. I don't have anything. I right click and I want to choose a digital reverb, RV7 digital reverb. So I'll select that. If I press the tab button and flip it, you're gonna see that it is connected, meaning the whole module. This is gonna play the drums, this is gonna play the hi-hats, also the snare. They're all going through the reverb, meaning that all the sounds are gonna be applied to that wet or reverb effect. I do not want that, so I disconnect them by simply clicking them, dragging them away, and it's gonna deselect both the right and the left channel signal. Signal, and I want to go ahead and just go to the Red Drum left signal. I want to put it on my first mixer channel, and then what was my snare? I think it was number 4. Yep, that's the one. So I flip it again by pressing tab. I go to my 4th channel, and I want to input. This is the top input, and then the top is output. Go to my left, and then it automatically puts the right. I want to go ahead and select the output, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it on my 2nd channel on the mixer. So once I drop it, it's gonna connect it. I'm gonna flip it back, pressing the tab button, and now you can see I have 2 channels. I have Red Drum 1, and I have Reverb 1. And you can also see the names on the side, and I don't want it to be named Reverb 1. So I want to be able to know that, on the mixer and here, that this is going to be affecting my snare. So what I do is double click it, and then I can type in snare. When I type in snare, that's when you'll see the mixer also have renames it to snare automatically. Okay, I want this one to be drums. Just simply, I'm gonna put drums. So once I press enter, it affects the mixer as well. The name's gonna be drums. Okay. Automatically the effect is all the way to wet. I do know that that's gonna sound terrible, so I'm gonna go ahead and lower it. I'm gonna drop it to 0, so you won't hear the difference. But once you hear the snare, I'm gonna go ahead and start moving it up, and you'll start hearing that difference. The size of the hall, which as you can see here, the name is hall. I don't want it to be too big, a big hall. So I'm gonna lower that down, and let's go ahead and preview and see how it sounds. At first, you're not gonna hear anything, and then once on the 2nd snare, I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up. pull the effect, dryness, I'm gonna make it a little bit more wet, and that's when you're gonna hear the difference. Okay. Now that's how you can get put some reverb on the snare, and you can do this with any other channel. So if you want to put some reverb on your kick, you could do that. If you want to put it on your hi-hat or any other instrument that you can put under this channel, under the channels within the reverb, you can do that. And that, let me see, I want the decay. That sounds a little bit better versus how if I were to bypass it, there's a button right here, a little switch. I can go ahead and bypass it. Bypass it is basically going to go ahead and pass the, is going to bypass the effect. So if I play it again and preview it, it's going to sound like how it did before. But I want it on. So I'm going to switch it to on and enable that. So this has been a tutorial just simply to show you how easy you can start making the drum loop within Reason. And if you guys have any questions or you have any comments, you could drop that down on the comments below. This is Freon the Frozen. You can send me a tweet if you want to at Twitter at Freon the Frozen. That's me. You can also find me on different other social platforms like Instagram or YouTube, obviously, and SoundCloud, although I really don't have too much on my SoundCloud yet. But you guys send me a message and I'll let you know. I'll try to help you out, okay? You have a good day. Peace.